On this episode of DC On Screen, too damn much. We have trailers, costume reveals, dead projects rising from the ashes, crazy projects being discussed, fall schedules announced, and carnal actions that Batman dare not engage in. All that and listener feedback after these kind sponsors slide their promotional dick pics into the DMs of your now, thankfully, suspecting ears. Welcome into DC On Screen episode 639. This is the podcast where we talk about the DC Comics multiverse on film and television, give honest opinions on projects upcoming and past, and believe that every version of a property is valid, even if we don't want it to be. If it has been released, it is fair game, so beware of spoilers, and welcome to the show. I'm David C. Robertson, and this, the man who once pulled a used butt plug on a barista and demanded cream cheese on its freshly microwaved pastry, Jason Goss.
I shouldn't have been forced to ask for it.
I know, right?
I don't even think that incident was my fault.
I mean, you're not a,
The Canadian police disagreed heavily.
The Mounties. All right, before we get into everything, I want to throw a big thank you to the patrons.
Thank you.
$1 a month. $1 a month gets you every episode ad-free. $5 a month gets you that, plus whatever else we decide to put up. I have slipped back into my negligent ways this last couple of weeks, I'm afraid. My back has been excruciating, and I'm really sorry. I don't know how else to put it. I am really sorry. But I'll put something up soon. Patreon.com/DC on screen. If you don't want to deal with Patreon, or if you do and you want to help us out a little bit more, you can go to DCOnScreen.com and click the donate button. And if you want to get some swag, our logos on t-shirts or tapestries or some shit, check out the merch store, DCOnScreen.com. Right next to the donate button, or right underneath the donate button if you're on the drop-down menu on mobile, as it looks like 87% of you are. It says store. It's pretty self-explanatory, really. Mm-hmm. And, of course, you can always leave a 5-star written review on Apple Podcast. That is free. I'm told it helps. I've seen no evidence of it, but it's always cool to read what you write, so yay.
Thank you.
All right.
They released the trailers. Oh, wait. Is that it?
They released, yeah. They released a what looks like an early access trailer, a final The Suicide Squad trailer. Jai Courtney presents it, quote unquote, under ruse of leaking it. I'm just as down for this as I ever was. It looks like a lot of fun, honestly.
I don't think I saw the one with the Jai Courtney intro.
Oh, really?
But it's the one with Bloodsport at the beginning, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Rain,
and
the Rain trailer, they're calling it.
Yeah, and it's never been so obvious to me that that Bloodsport was meant to be Deadshot.
Yeah, I mean,
I think he was.
The major talking points are there. Super deadly. Super worried about his daughter.
Yeah.
Given the difference in the power sets, I'm sure they're going to have adapted the role pretty heavily.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean,
with weapons.
Yeah, but it's not like Deadshot can pull weapons out of thin air, you know?
Right. Have you
gotta actually hand the motherfucker something, then he can hit you with it.
There was a lot of blowback online for like Superman in the ICU was trending yesterday.
Oh, I saw that.
Were you upset about that? Look, here's what I saw.
Every day this week in particular has, for me, been, just check this mindlessly, click the button. No.
Yeah. It's that gif of Grandpa Simpson walking in and turning around
every time.
Out.
Yeah. It has been one of those weeks, but man, I'm not all about the this is a hellscape thing, because it's like, man, if you have the time to tweet that, you also have time to delete the app. So, but I do understand the frustration. Like, yeah, man, it's not that deep, but yeah, but there are some times where I check in the discussion is like, I don't want to participate that all. I'm good. I'm going to go do anything else with my life.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and James Gunn rightly posted, a page from when Bloodsport literally shot Superman with a kryptonite bullet in the comic. And the doctor says, oh yeah, I actually had to use a piece of kryptonite to like hold open the wound to like, keep it from healing long enough for me to suture the shit.
Yeah.
So that sounds like Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
So that's something Snyder did. And make no mistake, it's the Snyder Bros who are bitching about this. It is.
I don't know.
Because all I'm seeing
from the one scroll I did that day was, there was a lot of Snyder Bros, but it was
all I'm seeing are like the Snyder Bros who are like, oh, Snyder Superman would never get sent to the hospital from a bullet. It is a kryptonite bullet, and also Snyder Superman, he went down in like 5 minutes from 2 kryptonite grenades and a spear.
It's not like he was taken out rather easily. He was taken out but swiftly with a deft plan, which is very different from being like, oh, man, it took him down in 5 minutes. Like, I know what you're saying, though. I'm not saying that. Like,
yeah, I mean,
a good, effective executor of such a plan is very different from like, it's not like he got haphazardly hit by some bullet.
Yeah.
Also, one of the things I thought about when I did read some comment like what you're saying, like, well, unless that thing's fired by God, I'm just not buying it. I was like, oh, just please fuck off as quickly as you possibly can into the darkest hole you can find.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's a weird thing to say. Also, it made me think of it, but like, how often do you really see him dodge them? He doesn't bother. He just takes them.
Right. So,
like, I know he's fast enough in theory, but he just kind of like,
he wouldn't bother. He would be like, ha, 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 that's a bull. Ow.
There's some writings of Superman where, like, that's the version that some people play on is, like, he enjoys showing people how much he can take before he even bothers to punch you back.
Yeah. He's a bit of a dick sometimes.
He's a bit of a show-off. I mean, yeah, it's not part of it. It's like he's not a Booster Gold or something, but...
Right.
His own humble way of showing off is just stoically being able to take a hit. Okay.
That's the version of Superman I would have written if Bruce Campbell was starring.
Yes.
And that's the thing that I've always wanted to see, by the way,
14 hits and smirks a little bit and just, uppercuts you into the stratosphere. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So...
Or even even the Snyder version in JL, like, not impressed. Like, that's...
Yeah, but, his one vulnerability is, well, he's got 2, is kryptonite and magic.
Yeah.
So...
Well, and other colored suns, but,
Yeah. But,
I mean, honestly, the list kind of goes on past that, but those are the major ones.
Right. I mean, you got to come up with more, but...
Oh, yeah. Some very clever writers have come up with ways to fuck him.
Yeah.
Good job.
I'm just saying, he might not have even thought that it was kryptonite. The books are quite, adamant. And look, here's the thing. People are always like, oh, Snyder loves the source material. Look at all the things Snyder's done. And I don't disagree. I love Zack Snyder's movies. I do. Here's the thing, though.
Bear in mind, just quick disclaimer. When we're saying Snyder Bros, we're talking about the people who just vehemently shit on everything that's not that.
Exactly.
If you feel like we've included you and you're listening to this, we probably didn't mean to include you.
Yeah, no. If you're rational, we're not talking about you.
You're also probably not here.
Right. Like one guy, I just totally blocked him. I blocked his ass. Because he was like, oh, you're getting you're getting sent to the ICU. His problem was the ICU. Superman being sent to the ICU and not Star Labs or like the Hall of Justice or like, it's just silly. And I'm like, sillier than a man from Krypton who flies. And like,
look,
I guess enough people.
If I was walking through the streets of Metropolis and a felled Superman hit the ground in front of me.
Uh-huh.
I'm just some random dude, man. I'm a bank teller, right? Just walking through the streets.
Uh-huh.
I was eating a hot dog. Superman's falling in front of me. He is in bad shape. First of all, I'm like, what the fuck happened here, right?
Right.
Second of all, I'm thinking, I've got to do something.
Yeah, we're humans. Who knows if
I got to do something with it
at this point.
I'm going to call for an ambulance, probably. I don't have the number to Star Labs or the Hall of fucking Justice.
You have 911.
I have 911. I'm going to put him in the back of an ambulance and hope to God I called in time.
That's right. That's exactly right. And, but, then that guy, I guess
also,
at the
in
end
all
of
the tellings of the Hall of Justice, I've never seen a medical night staff. Star Labs, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe a plastic man at the watchtower.
And what's he going to do? Joke about it?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, he could probably wheedle his way in there, but he'd get closed up halfway into it'd be like a Superman, Plastic Man, Siamese twin kind of situation because he'd get closed up while the skin healed and not be able to pull himself out. It'd be a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Cronenberg nightmare.
But like I was saying, anyway, when that guy was backed into a corner, his response wound up being, and anyway, fuck James Gunn. So we've gotten to the truth of the matter. You're just angry that it's James Gunn, not David Ayer.
A lot of people like that, like if you ask enough questions, you eventually get to like, cool. You hit it well, but you're just being a troll. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And by the way, he loved the source material. You mean like the guy who basically shot a fucking Ostrander film? Like,
yeah. See, that's the thing, is that these people love to cite the source material until it doesn't suit them.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, the source material doesn't back me up.
That's the thing. There's 80 plus years of it. You can kind of do that and almost get away with it until someone calls you on it. But guess what? It's pretty big internet. Somebody's going to call you on it.
Yep, sure is. It's a big old internet.
James Gunn could literally sleep on a bed of Ostrander comics every night. And it's there's still no way to keep certain people.
These assholes don't know John Ostrander because John Ostrander's name isn't Zack Snyder.
Some of them, yeah.
I mean, look, man, I love Zack Snyder. Also dig John Ostrander. I dig James Gunn's work. I don't know if he's a pervert or not. I know his tweets weren't funny.
Those tweets weren't funny, and they were stupidly tasteless. But I don't actually think he is a predator of any kind. I mean, I just don't. That's my guess. Hey, just my bet, but I don't.
Yeah, but it's another thing they like to fall back on.
I'll tell you another, like
anger.
You probably saw this a lot this week if you were on there. I saw it too much and decided I was going to bounce several times this week. I mean,
I did. I pulled that number quite a bit.
Yeah. Look, man, sometimes it's just not good for like my mental health that week. And I've had a stressful last week.
Yeah, that's exactly my feeling. Yeah.
I mean, we're not required to be there. Shit, like it.
No.
So one of the phrases I see sometimes, and when I see this phrase too many times when I'm scrolling, like if I scroll through like 100 tweets and I see it like 10 times, which is possible, like it's obvious that some people don't read comics or some variation, The thing is, like 99 times out of 100, the point that's being made is, I believe, accurate, true, and applicable. But it's almost always part of a conversation where I'm like, I just don't want that conversation in my brain. I'm gonna bounce. I'm just.
Yeah. I
don't need that right this second. I was just gonna try to like waste a few seconds online on my phone in between the things I needed to do.
Yep.
And I don't need. Sorry, I don't have room for that energy right now. I'm out.
And often when I see that online, I'm like, well, you're right in one regard, but also it's clear that you don't read comics because I know of another storyline where that exact thing happened.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're being proven wrong too. Just shut up and let people create things.
It's not so much they're saying like my point's inextricably true and yours is just terrible. It's often like it's like even when they're not right about what they say, it's like they're still true. They're still right about the person they were accusing more than half the time, unfortunately. Anyway, like there's a lot I've gone through threads where I looked at it and was like, man, I'm even going to have to look up some stuff here, but let's see where this rabbit hole goes. And after a while you're like, I feel like I got to the bottom of it and I'm sadder about the whole thing.
That's the only way any of this can end.
Just didn't improve my life whatsoever.
That's the only way that any of this can end. I remember on Fans Without Border, Brent was talking about stepping away from Twitter to some degree and definitely stepping away from the DC fandom. And he's like, no, I have just, I'm almost 40 years old and I am ashamed of some of the arguments I'm having on Twitter.
And I just don't want to comport myself this way anymore. I'm sorry.
I'm not interested in having arguments anymore. I will post a statement. Not to any person in particular, but whoever wants to see it can see it. And I'm just like, no, I'm not going to argue with you. I'll block your ass.
I mean, that's the annoying part too, is I'm still occasionally guilty of it. I'll see something and I'll just like, occasionally I'll want to just say something kind of snarky and I'm like, I don't even want to engage. I don't want to be a part of this. And then sometimes I can't stop myself and then I end up engaged and I'm like, well, fuck, now I'm in it. Well, now I'm in it. Let me see if I can turn this around somehow. And then almost inevitably, of course, I can't turn it around. And I've wasted a couple minutes of time. I don't feel great about it.
Brick walls.
Yeah, it's not a productive way to live my life.
No.
Dog, like literally any dog meme would probably be a better use of my downtime with a phone.
Oh, yeah. So Harley's number 2 joke. How'd you feel?
No feelings whatsoever.
Yeah, right? Like, I kind of chuckled because it was like, it wasn't even like a ha doo-doo. It was just, okay, Harley's oversharing. Like, my feelings were exactly what I felt like Rick Flag's feelings were. Like, all right.
I mean,
which was
I've been in that situation, and most of the time when somebody's like, yeah, come in and buy, I had to blah, 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 I was like, okay, I did not need to know that.
Right. No.
And that's, verbatim what I've told people before. So it's not actually, it's not funny inherently. Like, I'm not shaming you about it either. I just don't think you didn't actually tell a joke, man. I'm sorry. Like, I did not sense humor when you talked.
Yeah. See, to me, the fact that she shit is not was funny. What's funny is that she didn't have the boundaries to understand that she shouldn't share that. And I feel
it's
like
totally
Rick
in character. I have no objection to it outside.
Yeah, no. Okay, what did you
Me and
think
that joke
about,
have a pH balance of 0.
What did you think of the painkiller? Is this somehow related to a butthole? Because it's called Project Starfish.
Give me a lot of insight into how they're going to be playing this character.
I laughed my dick off. I did. And it wasn't even that he thought it might be about a butthole. 1, he was just so serious about it. And 2, like, dude, Viola Davis sold that for me. Like, that long, steely stare.
And then just
before saying no.
Here's the thing. Here's where, like, physical acting can really get me. The joke itself, good. Like, everything about that, the performance of that moment I thought was pretty stellar. But what made me laugh is when he goes back to his notepad and he doesn't even like strike through the suggestion.
No.
He writes no. Like, he wants a long form dictatorial like explanation of the response to his idea. Like I imagined him studying the notes to a meeting later,
reminding himself this is not about a butthole.
No, we explored the butthole angle and
and he would explore the butthole angle for justice.
Yeah. So, I mean, actually, now
and liberty.
Now that you think about it, just in the trailers, there have been 3 references to genitalia or just general like human areas, private human areas. And he was what is that? Toilet seat for a hat, right? There's the dicks on the beach thing.
Yeah, dicks on a beach.
Yeah. Where if anyone wants to find it, I've meticulously done the math on how long that would take John Cena to eat all the dicks on that beach.
I remember.
And now I guess, of course, the butthole thing.
Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing, a lot of the same outrage. Is this
all of them, or is this just the start?
I personally, I hope it's just the start. Just because I'm so sick of people whining about butthole humor. Like, those are every ass or dick joke we've gotten has been a different flavor, if you will.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm not a snob about humor, though. I'm not getting mad because my comic book characters are making jokes.
Yeah, no. I mean, I used to be more snobby about it. It really had more to do with my own comfort level with the subject, which still isn't great, but it's I guess relaxed. Maybe not the word I should have used in the concept that we were talking about, but like, we're here now, so I'm rolling with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I used to be a little more snobbish about that shit, and I've gotten to the point now where it's like, man, listen, I'm not ever going to be the guy that laughs at that Blazing Saddle scene. It's just not for me. I don't give a fuck though. It's not ruining the movie.
Yeah, I think these people think it is.
I'll just watch it. Like, my favorite movie, Shaun of the Dead, has like a running fart joke in it. And every time I've watched it, the entirety of the probably 100 fucking times I've watched that movie, I have never cared for or laughed at that joke or that series of jokes or any version of it. I don't care. It's still my favorite fucking movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't
be all right.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine.
Now, I know it's not the only fucking reference we're going to have, because at some point, Captain Boomerang wipes what appears to be Weasel's shit off his shoe. So fucking, we're going to have some body humor in here. Just brace yourself.
Oh gosh. Between the asshole joke and the joke about Weasel being like, hey, he's harmless. Well, he did kill 27 children.
That one actually made me laugh way more.
I laughed so hard at that.
Wait, what?
I laughed my ass off. I was laying in bed. I woke up. I was like, "Oh, this dropped," and I'm like crying, laughing at 27 children.
What killed me about that was the Boomerang reaction where he just gets this big childlike grin, like, "Oh boy." Well, he just got interesting.
Yeah. And I don't know, but I've seen some people being like, "Oh, so now killing children is funny." Yes, it is.
I mean, yeah, have you ever? I mean,
not in real life.
In real life,
not real children.
In real life, I'm going to try to stop that shit. Like, you want a donation to a child trafficking ring to stop it? Hit me up, man. Let me know where to put my money. I'll give it a shot.
I would totally take a gun and put down a 5-foot tall bipedal weasel who was killing 27 children. Yes, I would absolutely.
I'm killing him the first time I see him attempt to kill children. But kill a children for sure.
I wouldn't laugh. I wouldn't. Tears wouldn't run down my face in glee.
No.
But in this fictional case,
fictional case with this ridiculous fucking character. Most things, if you find a way, they can be funny.
King Shark, Bird, get off the comms.
What do they call him? I mean, get off the comms was funny. It was like Ratatouille and Nunani or something like that.
I don't know. I couldn't tell.
I rewound
it a couple times,
but I could not remember from where.
I rewound it a couple times. I could never make out what he was saying.
I couldn't either.
So that movie, the movie became a Chris Nolan movie for just a second. I couldn't. But yeah, I think it looks fun. I do. I think it looks like it's got some heart. I think it looks fun. I don't know. I'm digging it. I'm okay with it.
With every trailer, I'm like, man, there's going to be so many rats in this movie, and I think I'm going to love them by the end of the movie.
Yeah, and I don't mind Superman. I hope Superman's in it. I hope he's watching the Starro event go down from the ICU. I hope he's laying there in like a hospital bed watching. And you know what? I hope they don't even show his face. I hope they've got like one of those breathers on him, and he's like, you can't see who it is.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Because it would piss off too many people.
Oh yeah, but it would be perfectly fitting. Like Adam Sandberg would suggest that. Like, please, David Sandberg. Sorry.
I was like, what has he got to do with this?
He might too. In all fairness,
and also that's Andy Sandberg. Oh, I know who he's talking about.
In all fairness, he might as well, or he might also suggest it. But yeah, like I feel like he would suggest, hey, you know what, you should play off my joke about not showing the head, or the whole thing about me not showing the head at least, and like not show his head.
Yeah.
And if it happens, I'm gonna laugh. I'm just gonna laugh. How do you not, dude?
Yeah.
Good trailer though. I'm super interested in the whole angle. I don't know. It's not a new angle, but I don't know. I'm into it. When did it say it was coming out?
It's in August.
I want to say 12th or something like that.
I don't remember.
Not too far.
I'll have to look it up, but
not too far to wait though.
It's in the trailer, which will be posted in the show notes. Yeah. I guess if anybody wants to go look. James Gunn was talking to Total Film about how his movie connects with the original. Gunn says there's nothing really in there that contradicts David's movie. I think the original film did some amazing casting on those characters, in particular the ones I used. I changed what I wanted to and kind of didn't fix what wasn't broken. And he said...
It's a deeply diplomatic response.
Right? And he said that he told Games Radar that Warner Brothers gave him carte blanche to kill off anybody he wanted. They said I could keep all the characters or do away with them all. I could do a completely new squad, which I considered. Mm-hmm. And they said, you can kill anyone. Warner were pretty much on board with the story from the beginning. I was pretty much firmly in place from the inception of me taking on the project. They were very trusting of me throughout the entire process, almost to the degree to which I was frightened, because it really is all me, 100%. There's no one to blame if something goes wrong, except for myself.
That's fair.
Yeah, if it's true.
Here'll be a fun one. I mean, what if they're like, yeah, we just genuinely don't care what happens because the movie is gonna end up being a giant fucking, like, there's a big reveal at the end that's like the what's that fucking shit. What's the thing in The Man Who? What do you get for The Man Who Has Everything?
Hell, I don't know.
Anyway, what if the whole reveal at the end of the movie is that before the movie ever started,
you're talking
Harley...
about the yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
Shit.
The
Alan Moore thing I can't place right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Where Robin punches Mongol, I think.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Anyway, so what if the reason no one cares is because in the movie, like before the movie's ever started, there was an actual incident with Starro. Harley caught that fish, and this has just been her. This whole thing's in her brain.
That would be fantastic.
Like, the movie is like, yeah, it's in the DCEU because kind of doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm. That'd be fun. I mean, that goes right along with Birds of Prey. You could say anything from that didn't happen because Harley was the narrator.
Oh, yeah. And she is as false as the narrator gets.
Black Mercy.
Black Mercy. There's the bitch. Yeah.
I couldn't remember. I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, Deadly Nightshade. No, that is from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Black Mercy. That's the one. I wonder how many people are yelling at us right now.
I know. There were like 3. The 3 that listen.
2.5 of them were very mad.
Uh-huh. The other one was kind of like, come on, guys.
Mm-hmm. Too disappointed to be mad.
This person wrote to James Gunn and said, I dreamed that the Suicide Squad was split into 2 movies. We saw the first part featuring cameos, extremely gory training montages, no off-screen deaths, Country Meadows, The Thinker with Hair, and the WB offices. James Gunn, how long is the film for real? James Gunn says 2 hours and 12 minutes. That was a very inaccurate dream.
Yeah.
And someone else asked if the runtime was his idea or WB's, and he says, I wrote, filmed, and edited the best movie I could, and it ended up at this length. No one ever planned for it to be this long.
That's good.
So, yeah.
That's pretty good.
And then another person says...
I mean, even in these kinds of films, he's not, like, super big on backstory. I mean...
Yeah, no.
In Guardians, like, Drax has this whole galactic fucking story arc, and he's just like, yeah, but he used to kill a lot of people. Family's dead. Whatever. All right, so...
You get the gist.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the Cliff Notes.
I mean, I sit there and tear up when he's talking about his family and shit. I mean...
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need to see
a good moment. Hey, I'll ask you a question real quick.
Okay.
Of the people we've seen so far, like the people that were on like the trailer back, or not even trailer, the teaser reel, sizzle reel, whatever you call it, back in fandom days and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
At what minute mark does the first one of these people die?
I don't know.
I want to go with early.
Yeah, I would guess first 5 minutes.
I was going to go with the first 20, but I'll be curious. I'm going to write down our show notes here. Dave,
yeah, you're probably going to be closer.
Within first, well, I mean, I basically, did the Price is Right thing on you, but added $1.
Mm-hmm.
I said Dave within 5 minutes, Jason within 20. We already bet on who. I was just wondering.
Yeah, we did that in an episode already.
It was a whole Suicide Squad Deadpool picking match thing. Fantasy Deadpool, whatever we call it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so this person says, most important question ever, does the Suicide Squad have post-credit scenes? James Gunn says, I hope this isn't the most important question, but I think the movie itself, I think the movie itself is what matters most, but yes. And I believe he said multiple a few weeks ago.
Probably.
So I'm excited about the Suicide Squad. I would be more excited if Walter Hamada was dropped into a vat of acid, but...
A year ago, but sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd only be mildly excited about it now.
Mm-hmm.
But like, then, okay, in all fairness, I don't know if I would have appreciated it as much in June of last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long year, man.
It's true.
They could They could legit do a study, like a longitudinal study of DC fans. Versus just a sample group, and very possibly prove that we won't live as longer or as long. Live as longer. Good God.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I think DC fans by and large just wind up like angry old Republicans on Facebook.
Possibly. Well, I mean, look,
really angry at streaming services.
Here's the other thing, though. you got to be an adaptable person.
Yeah.
You got to be able to roll the punches if you're going to be a DC fan right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know what the fuck I'm going to wake up tomorrow and find.
No, you never know.
Aquaman could be in another Jack Frost movie.
Yep, that could happen. All right, let's talk about some of these little teases and stuff and suits we've got on the Flash or Flashpoint or whatever the hell we're calling it.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Muschietti posted a tease of the new suit and logo for the Flash.
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks great. How did you feel?
Of just the suit and the logo? Yeah.
Yeah, just the logo of the
Yeah.
He teased the Supergirl costume, and that's because they were like, "Hey, I'm pretty sure set photos are going to leak," and then set photos leaked.
Mm-hmm.
And look, man, I'm sure she's fantastic in the movie. Okay, I love the costume. I think it looks great. I think she looks good in the costume, in the most respectful way possible.
Mm-hmm. I'm waiting for the butt.
Homina. No,
Maybe,
but
again, not the phrase I should have chosen.
No,
given.
there was a but.
Mm-hmm.
But no,
when you're
I think
finished tripping over your tongue, let me know and we'll continue.
No, I was actually excited because she looks so much like the Supergirl from Injustice Year 3.
Yeah,
I think she looks great.
All right, I only saw a hint of this. I believe that was pointed out by Tom Taylor.
Oh, was it?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I was just like, oh, and then
I mean, he's a bloke I follow, but again, I've really kind of avoided some Twitter this week. Also because of the set photos. I didn't want to see more than I'd already seen. As I expressed, it's just not for me.
Right.
I really enjoy the sense of awe when I get to see something in full form for the first time without any seedlings.
Mm-hmm.
Just now that I've said the word seedlings, this could also be why in the times I've tried, I'm terrible at growing plants. I mean, they die on contact with my home.
Yeah.
I just don't have the patience.
Right. Well,
I worry for my child now that I've said this all out loud.
Yeah, that's, I wasn't going to say anything, but, whoops. I, pop over to Twitter, post a thing, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing like full on Supergirl images, and I'm like, okay.
I mean, what I saw, she looks fantastic.
But what Muschietti posted, like that emblem and the red above the emblem and going into the shoulders, that is also, we've already pieced together her hairstyle, so that's pretty much all you need for you to be like, oh yeah, that's Laura from Injustice. That's cool.
Yeah, that'll work.
Or that's what she looks like. And she might be Kara, but look like Laura.
Yeah,
that's possible. This is a multiverse, man. We don't know what's going to happen. But I'm down with it. And like, I saw some people complaining that like, look, they're replacing Batman and Superman. They got Michael Keaton. They got this, Sasha Calle replacing Superman. And dude, I'm here for it. I don't necessarily want to see a multiverse movie where we're seeing Batman and Superman that we've seen a million times before.
No, I mean,
3 times before.
Theoretically, if you'd pitched me this 4 years ago and said, hey, what we're going to do is the Flash movie is actually going to introduce like an alternate Supergirl, I would have thought, fuck yeah, that sounds fantastic. We've already got some Superman shit going on, so
yeah,
roll it out. I think the only reason people are that upset is because there is this drought of, this cavern of lack of cavil where,
right.
We're all kind of wondering, is there still a future at all? If so, dear
I'm
God,
hoping.
when? But
I hope, but
I get it. So, but there's a little bit of like, it is one of those thoughts where I can't stress enough that people try to get this out of their head, that if you have one thing, you can't have the other, because these things don't work that way.
Yeah, we don't know that. And look, I don't think we are getting Ben Affleck in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I saw the first look at Michael Keaton standing in a crowd, and I'm excited as shit.
Mm-hmm.
I love Michael Keaton.
I can only say he definitely looks like Michael Keaton.
Yeah, he does.
Exactly.
And
that's all I got.
We saw like there was a van that had Wonder Woman on it, like some promotional material from some, from the Wonder Woman movie, I guess. And it was like Central City Children's Fund. Everyone's like, "This is hokey shit. Wonder Woman's not a real person." And y'all, why wouldn't Wonder Woman be a spokesperson for the Central City Children's Fund?
And yeah, like in what
Miss America does shit like that? Why wouldn't Wonder Woman?
Of any version of reality would Wonder Woman not think that a just cause that she would contribute a photo to?
Right.
Well, they used the same thing from the promotional footage. Okay.
That promotional footage didn't exist in their timeline because we're in the real world, remember? Remember the real world?
I'll even grant you that, okay, maybe that cut a corner and saved some money. All right.
Of course.
It'll be okay. I mean, all right, the one legit point is like, well, it's kind of a fourth wall breaker. Okay.
No, it's not.
I can kind of get behind it because like if that's the promotional image you saw outside of a theater and inside of a theater you see it again, I can, that's like to me the most practical point you could make is that as a fourth wall breaker, it's got something. But you know what? You know what I didn't see in my like 2 seconds I scrolled Twitter and thought, nope, was anyone making that fucking point.
No. I don't. My favorite point is always from Brooklyn Batman, our friend Anthony, who's just like, will be like, y'all need to go outside and touch grass. There's nothing about that picture on that van breaks any kind of fourth wall. Maybe in your head, but not. Oh, for
I'm not
real.
even saying it does for real for me. My suspension of disbelief is still firmly placed up high, but it's the most reasonable argument I could make from that standpoint.
Then again, I can't for the sake of me understand why they're not making an ambush bug movie where he's talking straight to the camera about the differences between the Snyderverse and the Modiverse.
Yeah,
that's what I want to see.
Yeah,
but I'm a Deadpool fan, so
I like the phrase "you don't need to touch grass." It's a really good. It's a good tagline. I think mine would be more like, "Listen, y'all need to go hug a puppy or some shit."
Hug a puppy today. It's important.
Yeah.
And we saw Barry Allen outside of a courtroom, and he's wearing a flash ring. He's wearing the flash ring. That's cool.
It was.
I mean, it feels premature if I'm being honest.
Well, it's not. See, again, that's not even that. Like part of it is when I saw that image, I thought like, man, I don't know. It just looks a little awkward on him right now, and it's because it's a shot from somebody's cell phone in the middle of the day with no lighting, no pose, no adjustments, no nothing. That will look better and look more subtle. Look like it's a more of a part of him. Like that thing's the size of his eyeball. Just chilling on his hand like someone's not going to notice.
I have a filter for set pictures. I look at them and go, oh, okay, yeah. I throw a little, do some color grade and you're good. You're fine. Like, we don't need to complain about this. That's going to look dandy.
Yeah, I get it. And like, I know enough about how lighting's really not one of my things that I understand really well at all. But I know enough about it to know that like, yeah, when you get done lighting and finishing that, it's going to look like it's more part of the entire picture. You're not going to notice it. But as is, he looks like a kid wearing a fucking mood ring or some shit that he's going to show it to everybody he passes on the street.
A little bit.
And here's the problem with this is not my problem with set picks in general, man. If you enjoy them, Godspeed. But for me, the problem is more that like I see that and those are the thoughts that go through my head. And now I've got to live with those thoughts when I go watch the movie. And I don't enjoy that as much. It's clutter that I have to deal with while I enjoy something.
I kind of feel like, there are lots of set picks that we don't talk about on the show.
I know.
And then there are set picks where they're such a big deal. They're just everywhere. And I feel like I got something to say about it. And it's usually y'all shut the hell up. You don't know what you're talking about. Like it's usually something along the lines of calm your tits. You're good. Put them away. Put an ice pack in there. Cool them off. You're good. Anyway. All right, let's move over to Shazam 2 here. Fury of the Gods, man. Jack Dylan Grazer, Freddie Freeman. He is talking to comicbook.com, and he says, I'm in Atlanta right now filming Shazam 2, and it's going wonderfully. It's so fun. Zachary Levi's new costume is awesome. This one is so funny, and we really got a lot of freedom in this one. We're able to get away with a lot. It's really fun. Great cast. Helen Mirren is in it. Rachel Zegler from the new West Side Story. Lucy Liu is a great cast. Did you see the Helen Mirren pictures? I'm not sure they copied over to the what's it.
I didn't look at the what's it because I thought we discussed it and I'd seen everything, but I didn't see that anyway. So 0 for 2 on that with me.
I just sent you one in the Skype chat.
In the Skyping, gotcha. On
Skype chat.
Let's Skype it up,
my friend.
Oh no, I have seen that picture. I just
okay.
Honestly forgot that's what Helen Mirren looked like.
Yeah, she looks a little different. I'm, a little suspicious. Let's just say.
I do like. I only saw that as like it was like one of those thumbnails as I scrolled kind of things. I do remember seeing that image though, and thinking, well, that fucking body armor looks fantastic. I don't care what's happening here. Yeah,
no, that's fine. I mean, she's a great actress and all.
Oh, I negative 100% worries about how she's going to do with the role.
No. And David F. Sandberg did release the whole Shazamly. They all look great. And did you? I don't know if you saw that, but Grace Fulton is taken over from Michelle Borth.
I did see that.
So she's both versions of the character. Mm-hmm. So that makes me feel like. I mean, last time I was like, why isn't this just Grace Fulton playing this character? She's not even a child.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing if this movie franchise continues, eventually they'll just like weed out Levi and all of the older actors and just have the actual kids playing these characters.
Yeah, which would be funny to watch.
Actually, it'd be really interesting if the chubby kid,
too, though?
I mean, you could. I think it'd be interesting. I think it'd be really interesting if everyone aged up into the characters and then they were playing the superhero versions of themselves too, except for the chubby guy. And it was because he was the only one who didn't become the idealized version of himself. Shit, I would relate to that. I would watch that movie quicker than any of them. I'd be like, yes, let's see the fat kid who grew up into the fat man, and like everybody else like became these idealized like perfect versions that they thought they would be, and he didn't get it.
Yeah,
that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean
that'd be my story. Finally.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, I'm a guy who weighs more than I'd like to weigh, and I was always a guy who weighs more than I like to weigh. That's a fact of life for me, with some respites in between.
Yeah.
Mostly described as my 20s.
Yeah. Let's see. But yeah, these costumes look great to me. Like they look, but I didn't have a problem with the first one. I have at least 3 Shazam action figures from that first movie.
I mean, honestly, I think they both look great. I genuinely don't care. If they had kept it, great. If they went with this one, great. I keep thinking practically, I feel like this one costs less. That's all. Like,
probably.
I'm adding some serious syllables tonight. It'll be all right. Like, I feel like this one costs less is all. And, from when I saw everyone else's redesigned costumes, I kind of thought like, and you got the money from not doing that one that way.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Which is hilariously like the actual Marvel powers.
Mm-hmm. Oh well.
I kind of want them to be like, well, why do we look better? Well, I gave up some of mine for yours. And point at his costume when he does it. Point directly at the lightning symbol that's no longer kind of lit up with that little backlight.
Right. Mm-hmm. Dwayne Johnson revealed how much filming was left for Black Adam. This was as of the 20th. And he posted a picture of his food, and he says, doesn't look like much, but here's my Saturday night post-leg training meal. Ground tenderloin, brown rice with broccoli, and pineapple for digestion, wink. Is that a joke about his cum? Why the wink? I mean, I've always heard that you drink pineapple juice or eat pineapple to make your cum taste good.
I've in all of my questioning, never found that was true or false. And B, I thought it.
I didn't say it was true.
I thought even in the urban myth, it was only applicable to vegetarians.
Oh, really? I used to have an old friend in college who was walking around drinking like Five Alive and shit and winking at me all the time. I'm like, you're an idiot.
It's like, bro, you're still not getting laid, and you're gonna have the beaties. Stop winking at me. Hit a gym and put that shit down. Get some water.
The Rock says, with 8 ounces to 10 ounces of water, all of my 6 meals per day are strictly measured out, including water and sodium, as we go into our final 3 weeks of production for the filming of Black Adam. Commit, push all chips in, and do your best to trust the process. Black Adam diet, 6 months straight, rage, hashtag I need pancakes.
Okay, yeah. So for sure, the pineapple was he was like, what can I justify that's sweet that I can get into my fucking diet?
Yeah.
And pineapple, admittedly, like from what I know about pineapple nutritionally, it's not bad. It's like it's a lot of sugar, but I'm told it's like sugar you'll break down pretty well, and it does have a lot of fiber.
Yeah. So yeah, it's final 3 weeks of
all that.
Final 3 weeks of production. Mm-hmm. So that's all they need. They have zipped right through this production. Oh, honestly,
I'm sure.
And
he probably was sitting back there with a bullwhip the entire time.
Everything he fought for this film
for 20 years. We're gonna make it today.
Everything this dude is talking about in this post is just sounds like absolute torment to me.
Look, man, when you're winking about a hint of pineapple in your food on what is your 6th meal that day, like, yeah, you're not getting any dopamine out of your meals anymore. And
no.
But bear in mind, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's probably something we should all be doing.
And I'm over here, winking at my wife as I'm eating my 6th Reese's cup of the day. So
I am currently holding a Diet Grape-Co and thinking, well, it's not the other one.
By the way, those black raspberry LaCroix are delicious.
Aren't they?
Yes.
I'll warn you now, there is a limit. If you drink too many, they start to not taste as good. You have to keep them out as a reward between the other, guilt-free drinks.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, Aquaman 2, James Wan revealed the title of the movie, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which, that's fine, whatever. The main thing I see with this is a lot of people, and I'm curious, a lot of people were saying the reason Warner Brothers freaked out about those Snyder boards, the Snyder whiteboards, was that they're saying that, they're taking pieces of the Jeff Johns, Zack Snyder plan for Justice League 2 and 3, because there's obviously a court scene in The Flash, because we see him standing outside of a court room with the suit on and the flash ring.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that was in the boards, and also the Lost Kingdom was a huge plot point for Aquaman. And so yeah, a lot of people are saying like, they're just stealing from Snyder straight up. And to that I say, no, they own the IP. Anything Snyder does, they own. So
I mean, they own the IP and they own all of the drafts of everything that happened.
And for all we know, because Jeff Johns was there, he was coming up with it with Snyder. So who knows how much of those boards are Snyder's and how much are Johns, and how much, and Snyder's already said he wanted to change it anyway because, well, he said for obvious reasons. Might one of those obvious reasons be that Jeff Johns was writing it with him?
Yeah, it could be.
I think maybe. So let's just, again, apply that ice pack directly to your tits and just wait it out. It'll be fine. Yes, Amber Heard's in the movie. If you're mad about that, I'm sorry. I'm not a big fan of it either. I think she's an abuser. I don't think her or Johnny Depp should be in anything for the next ever. But hey, whatever. We get what we get.
That was a revealing time. But
look, in Aquaman 1, I was like, hey, she's not bad. Hey, she's very attractive. And now that I know she shat on a bed, I will never find that woman attractive again. I'm sorry. The words "she shit on the bed" escaped from the computer and went into my brain, and I will never find her attractive or in the least bit redeeming.
I mean,
ever. Sorry, it's just no.
Like what
can't shit on the bed is
like if this was like a medical thing, it wouldn't.
Yeah,
that's a very different conversation.
Yeah, medical issue.
What you're talking about is like this was a deliberate violent act she chose.
Right.
And that's what you're thinking is like, I can't get behind that. If that's a choice you made as a human, I don't think me and you were going to get along.
Right. There are several other, things like throwing
just way too much discussion of fecal matters in the show so far.
I don't know. Throwing
I hope this is a high or a
iPhone
low, whatever you want to consume it.
All the actual like physical shit, like the violent shit. Yeah, that's not good. But the actual shit, the defecation on the bed. That's the thing that sticks out in my head. Like I just see like blood and mayhem, and then just like a very attractive woman squatting and shitting on a bed, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm done.
I'm tapping out of this conversation. I'll be over here. Where? Over there.
So
where? Over somewhere.
So yeah, if I get it. If people are like, I can't watch this movie. I get it. I understand. I
mean, look,
if you can't watch The Flash because of Ray, I get that too. Like,
that's one of those
how many
decisions.
Flash figures?
It's a very hairy decision. Like one person is not responsible for the entire production, and I have to keep some respect for that. Like, there's going to be thousands of people working on this that have nothing to do with Ray or her,
right?
Or both of these productions. I mean that shit. It's a tough decision, man. Like, I get the appall and the outrage, and I even get some of the boycotting for some of the reasons, not all of them. Some people have shitty reasons for it.
Wink.
Not what I meant on that one.
I love it. I love it when that happens.
But yeah,
yeah. Anyway,
it's bad.
So here's a weird thing. Chris McKay was talking to Cinema Blend to Cinema Blend's Real Blend podcast, and he said of the Nightwing movie. I hope it's still a reality. I hope that we still get to make that movie. As far as I'm concerned, it's not lost yet. It is obviously something that, they've had other priorities. They've had other challenges. That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
They'd had things that they needed to do, and I think they found their way. I think their recent successes and the stuff that they are planning on doing now, I think it opens the door for us to still be able to do a Nightwing movie. Whether you call it in an alternate universe, or you pick it, or you pick in their multiverse version, which universe is part of, there are different ways into it. But Nightwing is a big, action-packed, emotional movie. It may not budgetarily be similar to what we do with the Tomorrow War, but from a scope and scale standpoint, as far as the kind of action and the kind of heart, that's what Nightwing is going to be about. So, I didn't think that movie was even still on the table.
It
honestly.
Feels like it's been years since we've thought about it.
Yeah,
it might have actually been a couple of years.
Oh, it has been. It definitely has been.
Would be a little bit fitting though for like it's somehow fitting for the character's success, like in a meta sense, that it would be just this thing that snuck in between where it's like super beloved and does really well, and just kind of like sneaks in between other projects, and you're like, shit, fucking, I forgot Nightwing is a great character, you know?
Oh, he is. He definitely is.
If I could pick a thing though, like, God, I would love to see a Nightwing movie that was somehow in the actual Joker universe.
Huh.
I would enjoy the fuck out of that.
That would be interesting. I don't know what that looks like.
I don't either, but I think I'd have fun with it.
Oh, yeah, probably. Speaking of things we'd have fun with, while he was talking to Collider, he said that because Lego has left Warner Brothers and is now over at Universal, there probably won't ever be a Lego Batman sequel. I'm so sorry to say that, but I don't think they'll be making Lego Batman 2. Apparently, Dan Harmon and the head writer for the current show Loki, Michael Waldron, had done a first draft of the script that was really great. McKay says it was truly epic, both from an action standpoint and from a story standpoint. The structure was Godfather Part 2, a story about Batman's relationship to the Justice League and Superman. now as well as the formative moments of the Justice League and Batman's relationship with Superman then. So,
I mean, look, don't rule it out. It was critically acclaimed. It did great with the audience in terms of money and ratings.
But
a lot of money there, and they can borrow rights for such a thing if it's, finite.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
I mean, the fact is, I
don't think so.
The transfer of the IP is a problem.
Yeah. But he also said that Warner Brothers was not really...
It's not impossible, but...
Apparently, Warner Brothers was not receptive to the idea. They didn't want them to take the character any more seriously. And they didn't want to keep filling it with more DC characters and lore. So he says the studio was leery of Lego Batman being an actual Batman movie. So I was constantly told to hold back. Audiences and subsequent movies like Into the Spider-Verse proved them wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I would have quadrupled down on making it as much of a real Justice League movie with lots of jokes, cameos, intersecting storylines, references, etc. It would have been a very dense movie as humanly possible. So, that's sad. I would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah, but Warner Brothers did.
Of course not, because they're idiots.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's the new term now I'm going to use. Warner Brothers in it.
Yeah.
When you decide against all evidence that your market should be infantilized and sold toys instead of respected and given the things that they've asked for over and over again, I think that should be called Warner Brothers-ing it.
Sure. Fair enough. James Gunn was asked a question and he answered it, surprisingly. He says, I have casually talked to the powers that be at both Marvel and DC about a Marvel and DC crossover movie. Mm-hmm. I would love for it to happen. I don't think it's likely, but I don't think it's an impossibility either. That said, just constantly seeing crossovers and mashups is less enchanting to me than a strong story.
I mean, well, sure. And I agree, but I would love to see it for one good reason. Well, I would love to see it for many reasons, but I would love to see it for one particular reason. So that if they crossed over and found common ground and it made $4.5 billion, we could all shut the fuck up about the DC versus Marvel shit.
Yes.
That would really make me very happy.
Me too.
That's really a major goal.
All right. So hopping back into some older fare, Kevin Hickman, the film editor for Suicide Squad, the David Ayer version, was talking to Cinema Blend about the director's cut, and he says, I would like to see David's final version of the film. I saw what David was trying to do with the film, and I thought it was a pretty bold film. It was less comedy. It was a much darker film. It was almost like a Black Hawk Down type of thing. It was just very militarized, very serious. I mean, of course, there were supposed to be comedic moments with Will Smith, but it was a darker film. I like where David was going with it, and it would be really nice to see him be able to finish what he started. I don't know if that will happen now because of James Gunn's reboot, which I haven't seen yet, but from the trailer, it looks like a lot of fun. It definitely feels like a different vibe than what David Ayer would have made, but I am really looking forward to seeing what James Gunn did because I'm a big fan of his work.
Yeah, I could have dug that version.
He also said it was well over 1 million feet of film that we shot for Suicide Squad, and it was just a big ensemble movie having so many characters that you have to introduce and set up their backstory, and the end develop a camaraderie between them all. So Suicide Squad was a challenge because we had so many characters, and at some point we screened it for the studio, and they wanted to take things in a different direction. Warner Brothers wanted the origin of the characters to happen much closer to the beginning and insert a level of comedy into the film. So yeah, I mean,
kind of.
We've heard versions of that scene, of that story before. Yeah.
It's kind of what happened.
And let's see. One last sad note, actually, before we jump into before we go to break, and then jump into television. Ned Beatty passed away on June 13th. This was the guy that, I mean, he's been in tons of stuff over the years. Deliverance and, Homicide, Life on the Streets and Network, he's just been in a bunch of stuff. Yeah. But I'll always remember him best, of course, as Otis from the the Dick Donner Superman the movie and Superman 2. Otisville. It's just one tiny little place, Mr. Luthor. But yeah, so thoughts and prayers and secular utterances to the family.
Vibes, I believe they're called.
Yeah, vibes. We got a lot more to get to, so we'll be right back after this break. All right, we are back, and first up on the roster here, we've got a Titans trailer, a teaser trailer for season 3. What did you think about this thing, man?
Jason gonna die.
Jason going bye-bye, and Red Hood coming in. They showed us that. They showed us a crowbar. I saw a crowbar.
Yeah, there's a crowbar. There's some serious Joker action. I think we all know how this story ends.
Oh, sure. And Greg Walker revealed to Entertainment Weekly the other day, they revealed a picture of the Jonathan Crane character. And he says, in relation to their version of Scarecrow, he says, think Hannibal Lecter. He's been given the opportunity to opine on ways to stop villains, and a villain breaks out in Gotham, and it draws Dick Grayson to work with him.
Oh, this is my dream.
Right?
This is absolutely my dream. I'm going to be absolutely wet watching this fucking part of the series.
Gross.
After all we've been through this episode, don't you shame me.
Shame. Shame.
We have been through some other topics. We can handle my man wetness.
Why did you have to say man wetness?
Because I wanted to make it worse, and I think I achieved my goal.
I was actually going to make it even worse.
Oh, I'm scared.
I was going to say I don't want to hear about your mangina.
Oh, yeah. I think man wetness is worse. Not sure.
I don't know. Man moistness?
Well, moist makes everything worse.
I know. Anyway, he also talks about Barbara. We got a great picture of her in the wheelchair talking to Dick. And he says, Greg Walker says, in our story with Dick returning to Gotham, and Gotham is a huge character this season, it's about sons and daughters and stepping into the shadow of your parents. Barbara is going to be conflicted by Dick's arrival. Barbara's feeling is that the legacy of Bruce and Jim has been this idea that she thinks is antiquated and inefficient. The God syndrome, meaning that superheroes create the situation where they're the heroes. They drop in on a situation, solve it, and then they leave. As she feels that basically disempowers people from solving their own problems, and that the people of Gotham need to figure out how to solve their own problems and not be passive victims waiting for a superhero to save the day.
All right.
I that sounds cool to me.
Into it.
August 12th, man. Thursday, August 12th. That's when season 3 of Titans rears its relatively well shot head.
Yeah.
I'm down for it. They also released a season 2 trailer for Stargirl, and all the other kids are like, "Hey, let's quit. The Injustice Society is dead," or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, "Well, no, we can't do that. Let's keep being good guys here.
It's the last thing we should do."
Right? No, let's not quit. Yeah, you gotta go back to the staff chose me thing. We heard that enough for the season 1, but
I feel like I know where you're going with that. But yeah, go for it. What you got?
Well, I'm not sure I have more to that. I'm just saying we've heard that staff chose me bullshit last year. Okay, we're good.
Cool.
That's it. That's the end of that rant. I'm happy to see Green Lantern's daughter. I'm hoping that's Jade.
I'm hoping Jade.
Otherwise, it still looks like the show that I watched and enjoyed the shit out of last year. So, Shade looks like a dope. I don't know, dick killer mother. I don't know. He looks cool.
I mean, yeah. Those trailers where you watch it and you're like, I know where the story's going. The trailer itself didn't knock my dick in the dirt, but I know where you're going with this, and I'm good. But but I'd rather just get into the series. That's one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole shebang right there.
I mean, I like it. They're a part. Honestly, I was just, if I was disappointed by anything, I was hoping for a little bit of Joel McHale.
I mean, aren't we all?
That's the thing. It's not on them.
Entirety of time.
It's just also
Right.
that was what you teased me with at the end was some Joel McHale. So
Right.
get him off that damn cooking show and let me see him in the fucking trailer.
Over to the Flash. Now, long-time listeners of this show know that we have a little problem with the Flash, as far as the people in charge of it seem to like throwing spoilers at us, and the trend continues. Carlos Valdez, the guy that played Cisco, his recent episode, the last episode or two, he left the show. That was his thing. He left the show, and now they come out with this saying he's coming back for the season 7 finale. And Carlos Valdez tells Entertainment Weekly, Cisco would have a surprise return to help the team take down a major foe. He says, "Yeah, I'm coming back, baby, for the last 2. I think it's really flattering and gratifying to get to do a big old goodbye and then come in as a surprise at the very end to help the team take down a formidable foe. It's not a surprise if you tell us." Why does Eric Wallace think this is okay? Why does Carlos Valdez think this is okay?
It's also not a surprise if we've done it with Tom Cavanaugh more times than I can count.
And pretty much every person who's left except for the guy that played Ralph, but he's racist, so.
Yeah, he turned out to be kind of a ball of shit. But hey, that happens.
Yeah. So
it goes back into my questions about why in the absolute hell are people not scouring? I mean, just devouring and vetting every single social media post people have before they put them in major roles.
It's just too much work.
Now, look, maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's a problem of the same reason, lawyers will send other firms that they're working against, discovery papers that are just boxes, boxes that look like yours and Scott McClellan's comic books combined and tripled.
In case you don't know, Scott is the co-host of the DC Film Squadcast.
Yes, and a formidable collector. So imagine all that. Friend of ours. Imagine someone hands you that and then they triple it and they basically give you a storage warehouse and say, well, this is what we're planning on talking about. Let's say you out-resource somebody so that they cannot possibly compete with you on the talking point. Sure, I can bring it up on the day. I feel like that maybe that's a relevant thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. CW put out their fall schedule, and it is relievedly light on DC fare. I feel bad saying that. Part of me thinks yeah, you're a DC guy. You're doing a DC podcast. You shouldn't be relieved when there are less shows on TV. But I am.
There is.
I mean,
yeah. It's hard not to have a little bit of, it's a workload to keep up with them.
It is. So Wednesday, October 13th, DC's Legends of Tomorrow Season 7 premieres at 8 p.m. And Batwoman Season 3 premieres at 9 p.m. That is October 13th, Wednesday. Then Tuesday, November 16th, 8 p.m., The Flash Season 8 premieres. And that's it. Stargirl Season 3, Superman and Lois Season 2, and Naomi Season 1 are all going to be mid-season.
All right.
But yeah, that's Supergirl's gone, Black Lightning's gone, Painkiller thankfully didn't happen. I'm good.
Honestly, I want to agree with you. I haven't gotten to watch the Batgirl pilot myself, though.
Oh, God.
I feel like I'm going to
can't wait for you to.
But I'm going to be it's going to fascinate me if I come back and I'm like, listen, man, I don't know. They missed an opportunity here.
For more exposition dumps, you'll see.
Very, very possibly. Probably even. I haven't gotten to do it myself. All right. So I am woefully behind on the CW this year. Now, that being said,
from take it from someone who's watched all the CW this year, it's more like weefully behind because.
Well, here's the part that cracks me up is maybe, but on occasion, relatively often even, have found something that I really enjoyed that you didn't appreciate as much.
That's true.
So there's a real chance that I'm going to watch these and be like, man, let me pitch this angle to you or something. But there's a decent chance I'm not going to. I don't know. It has nothing to do with my excitement. I'm actually deeply excited about several of these shows.
Yeah.
In a time crunch at the moment. There's some stuff going on, and I haven't had time to sneak it in. So I'm trying to
understand.
I'm trying to get in as many as I can, as fast as I can.
Yeah.
But as the nature of TV seasons go, they're fucking piling up.
Yeah, they're piling up.
And it's June. This is supposed to be where I can catch up on stuff.
I'm not trying to be unfair. I feel like there are probably a couple people on Twitter, at least, who see some of the shit I post sometimes and go, well, he's being a dick. I'm not trying to be a dick. I've stuck up for the CW shows when I thought they were really good. And when they falter, I am a piece of shit about them. But I haven't thought Supergirl was good this year. Superman and Lois is like God level. It's so good. It is so good. And yeah, I recognize they're lifting some shit from Man of Steel. The showrunner said, look, we wanted to incorporate all of our favorite shit from all of the Superman stuff. So yes, some Man of Steel shit, kind of like some inspiration is in there.
Yeah, but there's also some Smallville stuff. Like the set itself looks more like the Smallville set than the Man of Steel set
but it also just feels like its own shit too. Like, and yeah, it is unfair. I agree. It is unfair that people are like, that was badass. And if it had been Cavill, they would have been like, he just murdered that guy. No, he didn't, but it's okay. There's definitely some double standard shit going on with the audience, but look, I think Superman Lois is a great show. I think they're doing a fantastic job. I haven't really enjoyed The Flash this year. The first half of Black Lightning was pretty damn good, and it ended well, but I didn't like Painkiller, and I didn't like a couple episodes after it. I've got my little preferences. Legends is Legends. It's just a whole bundle of weird ass shit, and I tend to enjoy it.
I'm normally very down with their whole bundle of weird ass shit.
Right.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
It's funny though. Like even Legends, it was like, season 1 we kind of both liked. Season 2 you fell off really hard, and then it was like there was this post, not Bilbo,
pre-Bilbo,
Bebo. There you go.
Bebo.
Pre-Bebo, there was so much disagreement, and me and you both had this like post-Bebo moment where we're like, you know what, the show has chosen a path, and I can dig where they're going.
Right.
We enjoyed it far more than we had ever enjoyed the show because they had clearly decided, like, we're going to embrace this. We're going to embrace the part of this. We're going to embrace the silliness of what we're doing and keep some serious moments and roll with it.
Well, the way they pimped that show in season 1 with a trailer that had freaking Rip Hunter saying like, I've seen, bats broken and Men of Steel murdered or whatever it was.
Like Men of Steel fall.
Just like, what are we doing here? Like, we haven't seen Batman in this universe. We haven't seen Superman in this universe yet. What are we doing? We got freaking Booster's son running around here. And then, they didn't do anything with any of that shit. Yeah.
It was like zero. A super serious show that was going to be a giant wall breaker between the shows and the universes, and they did fuck all with it for a while, and it was frustrating. And then they tried to like dig really deep into certain characters, and they couldn't decide what they were doing. And then they decided. Then they went a little bit silly, and that was kind of annoying to us because we're like, you were trying all this, and now you're going silly on us. And then, like I said, man, there was the Bebo moment where it was like, not the first
where they just leaned into what they were.
By the way, when I say the Bebo moment, in case anyone's misunderstanding us, because I know Dave's on the same page as I, so I'll speak for both of us. I don't mean the first episode with Bebo.
No, we hated that.
That was terrible. That was a fucking low point. That was a low point even in retrospect.
Well, it was a low point, I think, maybe in retrospect, but it was a low point because it was such a shift so quickly.
It tried to do a lot in one episode that it hadn't earned. And it's one thing to do that in one episode and it kind of come off weird. And I feel like that's how that went down. But it's another thing to embrace a finale and do it so wholesomely and holistically where at the end of it, you're like, man, they made a choice here, and they weren't wrong.
Yeah.
That is a very different conversation. And that was a conversation that I feel like you and I had with the show, and we said, you know what? I support you from this point forward.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic. It's been a delight to watch. We
had a very serious, if you could consider such a thing serious, come to Bebo moment.
Right.
And
we did. We did. After Bebo destroyed John Noble, we were like, you know what? I think I can dig what you're putting down here. So
was it John Noble?
I thought so. Wasn't he the voice of that demon that year?
Oh hell, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Maybe. Yeah, you know what? I bet he was.
I'm pretty sure it was him.
I've had too much John Noble being a demon. Because he was in Sleepy Hollow.
I'm not getting the name wrong, right? Fringe guy.
Yeah, Fringe guy. He was a demon on Sleepy Hollow. He was like the son of Crane and Witch Lady, and then it turned out he was the Sin Eater. Remember?
Yeah.
Anyway,
how'd that show end out?
Moving over.
How'd that turn out? What happened there?
It got real weird and got canceled on a cliffhanger, as I remember.
Okay.
Like they literally fired everybody off the show, everybody of color off the show, and hired a bunch of other people. So it was just like really weird and kind of not okay. Like they just like replaced them with different people of color. It was a really weird situation. I don't know.
So don't finish watching is what you're telling me.
Don't finish watching. It was like 4 seasons. It ends on a cliffhanger. I'm told. I fell off season 2 or 3. I can't remember.
I made it a couple. Like, mostly, honestly, because of the gags about him being out of time. Like,
yeah, and then there was they did a really weird crossover with Bones.
I do remember that being a thing and thinking, I don't think I care about this.
Yeah. Yeah, I had fallen off well before that.
Yeah, I'd done that as well.
I was like, "Will you get rid of Orlando Jones?" I forgot. Okay, he was like the one good thing about the show.
Why does everyone get rid of Orlando Jones? American Gods.
I don't know. Too. Yeah, well, American Gods just got canceled without an ending. So,
well, I know, same thing. Like, and I'm wondering. I have no reason to think it's Orlando Jones' fault altogether.
No, it's karma.
Just a weird timing thing. But like, yeah.
Once you let go of Orlando, your ass gets canceled.
Exactly.
On a cliffhanger.
That's how that shit goes, man. I mean, it's a life rule.
Yep. And yet all I can hear is Orlando Jones or see is Orlando Jones standing at the door in Office Space going, "Hello, I was once addicted to crack."
That was a good thing. But honestly, like he actually was just deeply well cast as a Nazi. Like, I hear speeches from the American Gods book, like whole storylines or whole stories that a Nazi tells. I hear in his voice now. Like, since I've seen him cast there, like that, it makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
That now I'm just like, I don't understand why. I don't know. One day maybe I'll...
Dude has such range. Why would you ever get rid of him?
He does.
Anyway.
He does. I don't understand. And there were some allegations about the American Gods productions. I was like, man, shit, I don't think I'm going to watch the second season. I'll be all right.
Yeah, well, a lot of people didn't watch it.
That's a thing.
Over to Peacemaker. James Gunn was talking to Total Film. And he was talking about how he got around to making a Peacemaker show. He says, "I was finished with the draft of Guardians 3.
I hadn't written enough butthole jokes yet, and I thought, well,
and I'm editing the Suicide Squad, but that's starting to slow down." I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna be trapped in here during the lockdown for another year before we start shooting Guardians. What am I gonna do?" So I talked to the folks at HBO about it. And they were like, "Hey, if you could do any character at all from Suicide Squad for a movie, who would you do?" I said it would be Peacemaker because he's a pretty rotten piece of shit. And I thought he had more room to grow than some of the other characters. I wrote 8 episodes in 2 months, and the story hasn't changed since then. The truth behind it is that I was just so miserable. I was like, I'm going to be stuck here with my own thoughts unless I do something to get my mind off of it.
See, that's a beautiful thing.
And nothing to do with butthole jokes. No, I'm sure there will be plenty of dick and butthole jokes.
I mean, honestly, that was one of the things that occurred to me watching the trailer was like, maybe that wasn't a one-off. This is going to be raunchy show over there on the HBOs.
Probably. I mean, it's James Gunn.
Yeah.
Speaking of raunch, Justin Halpern, and this has been making the rounds all week. Justin Halpern, the co-creator and executive producer of Harley Quinn, was talking about the freedom he had with making a show about supervillains. He says it's incredibly gratifying and free to be using characters that are considered villains because you just have so much more leeway. And then he told this thing about how WB nixed a scene they proposed featuring Batman and Catwoman. He says a perfect example of that is in the 3rd season of Harley. We had a moment where Batman was going down on Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
And DC was like, you can't do that. You absolutely cannot do that. They're like, heroes don't do that. And we said, are you saying heroes are just selfish lovers? And they were like, no. It's that we sell consumer toys for heroes. It's hard to sell a toy if Batman is also going down on someone.
I saw, and it's without exception, one of the dumbest goddamn things I've heard in a very long time.
Yep.
And
they were also very complimentary of their experience on Harley Quinn, by the way, and said that Warner Brothers had allowed them to really push the envelope multiple times. But yeah, that was apparently one of their sticking points.
You can show teeth flying out of mouths after getting hit with a mallet, but
right,
actually taking care of your partner in any kind of immediate intimate way, well, you just can't be a party to that.
Right. Well, I doubt it would have been too intimate, more gross and jokey, but
for sure. They would not have made that some steamy moment. It would have been it would have been a mockery of both the characters and cunnilingus as a whole.
Yeah, and the jokes have been flying all over the place, and dude, Zack Snyder even got in on it. Did you see this picture that he posted?
I did, and I laughed
of Batman eating Catwoman out, and he said "canon."
Yep.
And then David Sandberg posted a version of it where Shazam's in the background with a big camera, and he says Nikon.
Mm-hmm. And he won yet again. He often wins.
That was my favorite shit. That was so great. And after the big blow up, Justin Halpern was like, "So, watch Harley Quinn on HBO Max."
After all this concern and consternation, can we get some? We can get some views then, right? Cool. All right.
Yeah. And apparently, they are going to be doing a comic book sequel to season 2 of Harley Quinn called the Eat, Bang, Kill Tour.
Nice.
And so season 2 ended with Harley and Ivy leaving Ivy's disastrous wedding to Kite Man and doing the old Thelma and Louise. And so this comic book series picks up right where that leaves off, and it's going to be filling in the gap between season 2 and season 3 of the HBO Max show. So, yeah, if that's the thing that's the thing I would be interested in getting. I'll probably see if you can grab me a copy too, since I don't actually deal with comic book shops anymore.
Yeah, I'm going to add it to the list. I'll ask for multiples on that one.
Cool.
Gonna have to see that.
Hopefully it'll be out before the show. That'd be cool too.
Yeah. Be a minute.
Let's get to the feedback here. We've got a little bit of feedback, and then we can wrap it. Randy SF45 over on Twitter says, "I'm finally down to just watching Superman and Lois as far as CW goes." That's what he said to us. I get it. As I just said a minute ago, I guess I shouldn't have said that yet.
Mm-hmm.
I screwed up, Randy. I answered your feedback before it was time.
I am kind of in the opposite.
I watch it, and I watch everything, and I hope that it all gets better. I don't understand why you're not watching Stargirl. Stargirl's fantastic, dude. Like, if you dig Superman and Lois, how are you not watching Stargirl? But I get you. Zach's Monster 1138 says, "How's it hanging, fellas?" Well, I've been having a lot of back pain recently, and I don't know how pain works for you, Jason, but when I have back pain, mine doesn't really so much hang as it does retract up into my abdomen.
Yeah. Yeah. The old retraction, traction. Yep.
Yeah. So not well.
Yeah. Mine's kind of, there but ignored.
Well, we are men of a certain age.
I'm busy. We got the children's.
Well, you have the children's. I don't have a child. But I do have a
plural
burgeoning action figure collection.
Yeah.
I it's,
I don't methodically have a child.
It's one of those, like, I feel like my life is like, you know those memes where the guy is like laying over on the side and the woman is looking at him suspiciously, and it's like, I bet he's thinking about other girls, and then he's literally thinking about something stupid.
Yeah.
I have this vision of like me on my computer and my wife in the other room going, I wonder if he's looking at porn, and I'm just like looking through like Amazon pre-order lists for action figures. Anyway.
Yeah.
So in a way, yeah. Effie,
honor system.
Effie
Let's call it that. As a
Effie Oppilders of the fantastic podcast Stealing the Remote, I should say, says, which DC Comics characters secretly watch the most disgusting adult movies while in the gutters in between panels? This parentheses, this is the shit we don't ask DC Film Squadcast.
I mean, fair. Don't bother.
And then Zach said Superman. Zach's Monster said Superman. That was his answer to Effie's question. And I wanted to say Superman first because I desperately cling to what Rupert Thorne said in the Two-Face two-parter, where he says, the brighter the picture, the darker the negative. But
there's that. But to me, I mean, just my version. He's supposed to be the one exception to that rule.
Okay.
Now, granted, I just mean that in certain versions. Given what we've talked about today, I feel like the answer is Captain Boomerang.
Honestly,
I feel like he has the most deprived, Pornhub history.
Right.
Depraved?
To me.
Definitely depraved. That's the word I wanted.
Yeah, depraved. Yeah, you're right.
It's not deprived. It's Pornhub. You can get what the fuck ever you want.
I would think, and hang with me here. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say, because of there's that notion that when you watch a lot of porn, you wind up, or are very sexually active, you just progressively start looking for weirder and weirder shit to get your rocks off.
Yeah, the Frank Zappa, Bobby Brown theory.
Sure. So by that measure, I'm gonna say, and because of that reasoning, I will say Abby Arcane.
Well, okay, that's fair too.
She has completely desensitized herself to weird Swamp Thing sets potatoes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And now she's just looking for the most disgusting, disturbing adult movies ever.
Possibly with some Martha Stewart lookalikes.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't think this is a bad theory to work on. I mean, it makes you wonder, like, okay, well, to what extent is like Constantine or a Zatanna susceptible to this?
Yeah, I mean, I would think Constantine would just be like, I've lived it all of.
Yeah. He recently fucked Satan in a Tom Taylor comic.
Oh, of course.
Only after being slightly, by the way, it was a funny bit, as Satan did a little mind trick on him where he thought he'd slept with him for a second, and Satan was like, come on, John. And then he has this moment to himself where he's like, fucking not good enough for Satan, What the fuck? It was good. But it's not, I don't think the slippery slope thing, like, to me, by the way, just made a point as Jason. This whole slippery slope thing is fucking bullshit. I hate the concept. I think it's absolute bullshit. But I think it's especially bullshit when it comes to sexual inclinations. So I wouldn't go down that road. I really would think it was somebody like Boomerang. Maybe overall, just the whole DC universe. And yeah, I'm going to go to Gotham. Maybe like Creeper. Like somebody like that. That's maybe where I was going. Or if we're going to go real crazy with it, Crane. Fucking Scarecrow. He's going to watch snuff films.
Right. That's pretty rough.
They're fucking snuff films.
Yeah. Okay. Then our Abby
But-
Arcane
but
is like, yeah, but
I
do you
say
watch
that.
snuff films with mold?
Yeah.
Like, do
Those
you,
are called
do you ache
petri
to hear?
dishes.
Do you ache to hear mold scream?
Yeah, that's called an experiment
fear.
at Abbott
Yes.
Laboratories and a petri dish.
Right.
Um,
Like, is Jonathan Crane performing cunnilingus on a petri dish like Abby Arcane
they're,
is?
they're,
That's your,
they're doing
that's
that at a number of sites right this moment. I promise you. But yeah, like, I can see someone weird enough like Creeper who just genuinely feels like a fucking voyeur.
Yeah, he's always seemed pretty tame to me. He just seems like, hey, I have a crush on Harley or whatever.
Yeah,
you know,
but
like he's just
honestly, it has to do a little bit with body posture. He looks like somebody who would be happy to like hit a rooftop where he knew he had an angle to watch you shower. You know what I mean?
I mean, maybe.
Got a journalistic background. Yeah, you'd be able to do the research.
But, you know, at the same time, nothing too crazy going on in a shower most of the time.
Even then, you know, Crane, all his history, all his, you know, to defy my own theory here, I don't remember seeing any. I genuinely cannot remember a time where I've seen people link, you know, Scarecrow's enjoyment of someone's fear be a sexualized thing. Like, I don't think they work on the same capacity.
They can.
If anything, it might be Harley, who I feel like is probably watching furry porn for fun.
Yeah, no, she's just watching slow motion videos of egg sandwiches getting made.
Probably. Yeah.
I mean, I do that shit and it's not even sexual. I'm just like, oh, what are you doing, Gordon Ramsay?
I didn't even know you could do that to an egg. Didn't even know. I'm going to be honest with you right now.
Anyway, we got a question from Stu Little. He says, why do people have such an issue with how Donna Troy died in Titans? Is electricity not lethal, even to a half Amazon? I can't accept it's pointless, as she did it heroically, saving people, and it's a plot catalyst for change in the Titans, and herself when she revives, right? I think the problem is, one, I think everyone thought she was more powerful than that. Two, it's lame as shit. And three, it was filmed in the most lame way.
It looked.
It didn't.
My problem is that it didn't look. It looked entirely avoidable the way things went down.
It looked entirely avoidable, and I wasn't completely sure what was even happening until she was like laying there, and everyone was like acting like it was the end of the world, and I'm like, "Oh, she dead? Okay." And then they're like, "Well, we're gonna take him to take her to the Themyscira," and we're like, "Oh." Because she's coming back. Like,
Yeah.
there were no stakes to it. It's not that it wasn't pointless. I think it's that I think viewers have become more savvy to what is going on in shows, and you can't just present something like that and be like, "See, she's dead. We're taking her body to Themyscira." Like, no one was fooled by that. No one was going like, "Oh no," and maybe they weren't trying to fool us, but it felt enough like they were trying to. Like, they just didn't stick the landing again.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a phrase I keep seeing with Titans, but man, much
Yeah.
as I really just deeply love that show, yeah, it's a flaw.
and you know what? It's not even just Donna Troy and the way she died. It's also the last episode was so like trite, man. Like they couldn't, like, they flubbed the Deathstroke ending. I feel like it wasn't nearly as interesting as it had been building up to be over the course of the entire season. And then we like dip right into like some mixture of Superboy, you know, climax and Donna Troy getting killed. And it didn't look good. It was like bad slow motion that like makes it clear that she should have been able to avoid that. Yeah, it wasn't pointless. She was saving people. But, you know, it's not necessarily, it's sort of like how, and, you know, Stu, I know you. So, look, Star Trek Generations, right? A lot of people hate that Kirk died on that bridge, that the bridge fell and he died, okay? And, you know, people make the joke, like, bridge on the captain. But the real problem with that is not that Kirk died, okay? People think it is because people don't know why they feel the way they do. The problem with Kirk dying on that bridge was that we didn't see what he was dying for. Mm-hmm. We never saw that planet. We never felt the stakes. We don't know why Picard buried him on that planet when they were probably just going to come and get him. Like, why are you putting him like under some rocks and shit? That don't even make any sense. It was like the execution of it in all manner was just bad. Same thing here. Like, people don't know why they don't like it, but that's probably why. Like, for real. Like, they just did a bad job of it. Yeah. So that's my opinion, my subjective opinion on the matter.
Yeah. I can get it
anyway. John Hazelton says, what can we collectively do to make being a DC fan less contentious and more positive? Is there anything? No. There's not.
Wait. To making yourself as a DC fan or making another DC fan more positive?
As a DC fan, what can we collectively do to make being a DC fan less contentious and more positive? Like, we can like try to do that shit where you be the change in the world that you want to see, but you're gonna get mowed down and you're gonna get discouraged.
No,
really quick.
Yeah, I mean,
if you're on social media,
I don't disagree with you, but I'm still calling bullshit. Like,
okay. You don't disagree with me, but you're going to call bullshit, which means that you think your own opinion is bullshit.
No, it means that I do believe that's the first step in the opinion, but you have to go back.
Yeah.
Like, go past that. Like, yes, okay. It's, they've made it difficult. Like, no doubt about that. It is not an easy journey right now. Like, even if you're a fan who's just happy about it, like if you're the supposed Pollyanna, like, what is it you're so like in love with right now? And, you have to at least at this point have at least some cognitive dissonance about how everything connects. And even if you're just a super open-minded Pollyanna, like you're, okay, well, I love everything, but, I don't necessarily know how it connects. Okay, well, there is a difference between being like so far into the positive category that you can't really have an opinion or have any criticism. And there's another point where you can't go so far that you can't fall so far into criticism or admittedly like the wishy-washy fucking emotionally abusive almost on us cycle of changing plans that you get to the point where you're like, I don't even know how to make this a thing I can enjoy anymore. No, you find the things you can enjoy, you take joy in them and you appreciate them. And then the things that you don't, you just have to find a way to, if you don't like them, fine. If you do like them or you don't like them or you're neutral, I mean, these are all things that you can experience and enjoy as a person, but you don't have to make it a holistic thing where it's like, I don't know how to be a WB fan anymore or be a DC fan anymore or some, inseparable version of those two things. Like you can separate these things in your mind and enjoy what's being put in front of you. You don't have to necessarily think of it as a whole.
I think, one of the things you have to do, and, I don't know about collectively, but there's a point where you have to realize that every bad thing that's going on at Warner Brothers right now is going on at every other studio. Okay. Like you can say, I'm a Star Trek fan, but you know what? Gene Roddenberry was a piece of shit.
Oh, fucking terrible.
He just was. Rick Berman hasn't been great in all forms. Like, there's lots of little problematic behavior that's been going on for years. You can say I'm a Star Wars fan, but then there's all this, toxic fandom between people who hate the new trilogy. People don't like Kathleen Kennedy. People are attacked. People hate Disney. Disney's a piece of shit company. And, that goes into the Marvel shit as well. People like, oh, Marvel is bastardization of the genre and, oh, they're so formulaic. And you know what, man, there's always some kind of horse shit with all of these things. You're not going to watch a movie where some kind of problem didn't occur somewhere along the line. So it's just best to go ahead and get all that shit out of your system and ignore it because, whether you're upset that Jeff Johns' name is on a thing, you know what? Jeff Johns has been working at DC for so long. His name is on pretty much every damn thing.
At this
because
point.
he created so much.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like in comic book and like current, like I'm writing this, but like, I'm just saying because of so much stuff that he's like, look at how much shit his name was on for New 52, which is where they pull so much of their shit from while they're making these movies and TV shows. Like his stink is on a lot of it, and it's going to be on a lot of it for a long time.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
There's certain things you can't change the course of the river in so many ways. Like, but you don't have to take that all into account and take it. There are ways to compartmentalize what you're actually enjoying and be able to admit to yourself, like, listen, man, look at the credit scene of a movie. It's 4.5 minutes long, and the font is so small you can barely read it from the 10th row. Thousands of people. Yeah. Hundreds of them possibly are absolute piles of human garbage. Like, might literally be Nazis in the fucking film credits. Dudes that have a fucking Hitler and fucking swastika flag in their bedroom. I don't know. But out of thousands, fucking maybe. You can't. You cannot get to the point where you're like, this one bad thing, so therefore I can't enjoy this other thing. And there has to be a way to have a middle line where you're like, look, I know there are human problems here, but there's a product involved that I'd like to support, and I can get behind this version of it or this part of it. Yeah. And have your disclaimers. Explain why you don't like this part of what you're doing. Hell, boycott if you want to. Just, articulate your point. So we know what it is that, like, so at some point, Warner Brothers, who we all admit at this point is a pile of shit as an executive team, it understands why. Like, not just, oh, fucking Warner Brothers sucks. They don't fucking get the point on that. Explain why. The Anna article was just, explain why that was the thing that you think sucked.
And Sarnoff?
Yeah, there you go.
I was like, for a second, I was like, who the hell is Anna? What have I missed?
Explain why that was the problem. Explain why Ray Fisher is the problem. Explain why fucking anything is the actual problem. And I'm not saying like explain it's a problem and then go do it anyway. I'm saying like explain what the fucking problem is and be articulate about it. Don't be one of these people that's like, well, I just don't like one thing, so fuck all of it.
Yeah, and don't be don't be one of these people who like gets online and starts attacking everybody and calling people WB shills just because they're willing to enjoy a thing. Don't, get mad, call Ben Affleck a traitor because he's working on an Andy Muschietti film. Don't call Zack Snyder a traitor to himself. Oh, you would never do that. But I mean, I don't know. Like Zack Snyder's like, yeah, I enjoyed this thing that I didn't make. And people are like, well, we're going to ignore that. Screw Patty Jenkins. She's a traitor. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, Zach watched the damn movie. Like, I don't agree with Zach. I don't think the movie was good. I didn't like 84, but that's just one movie in multiple that, I'm not going to be like, I can't watch The Flash and enjoy it because Ray Fisher. You know what? Ray Fisher said, I'm not going to be in any movie that Walter Hamada's involved in. He stepped down. And you know what? Walter Hamada's there. Ray Fisher's not. Like, they used that. They were like, oh, he just stepped down. All right, well, we'll move on without him. That was Ray's issue. Ray said his piece, and now he's acting like he was fired. That's bullshit. That's bullshit for all of y'all acting like he was fired. He wasn't fired. Dude quit. I'm not saying he didn't quit for just purposes. I totally
he quit under untenable circumstances, but
he did.
Describe it as it is and explain why that's a fucking problem. Address it that way.
Yeah, and dude, like,
because for sure it is a problem. It is bullshit.
We can collectively allow people to enjoy shit. Like, you can listen to me talking about why I didn't enjoy a thing, and it's not an attack on you. If you love all the Arrowverse shit that's happening right now, I'm happy for you. I wish I was in the same camp. I don't think it means that it didn't happen or anything necessarily. Friggin', I hope Grant Gustin shows up in the Flash movie. I really do. I like that dude. I like the Flash overall. I just don't like this season or last season. I don't know exactly what they could have done to make it where I would have liked it. Maybe less repetitiveness from the previous seasons. I'm a little done. Maybe they should, hang it up or just drastically change the show. But I do fall that way. I kind of get tired of things. So, I don't know. I think we have to stop being pricks to each other because, these little statements about like, no other Superman could be better than Henry Cavill. That's the same kind of shit you were just mad about that people were saying about Christopher Reeve. People won't accept the Snyder version of Superman because they're all hung up on Chris Reeve. Like, there's so many different versions of these characters, guys. I don't know. There's a lot of like different little segments of contention in the fan base. Like, you can't move, man. You just can't. Like, I feel like they're like, no matter what you say, you're going to piss off like 25 different stupid cult sects of DC fandom. And it's just bullshit. And it'll happen to Marvel. As I've been saying it for years, it'll happen to Marvel. Once there's enough, enough live action versions of a character, you can already see it starting to happen. People getting pissed about Spider-Man and getting worked up over possible Wolverine castings, and it's all a bunch of toxic garbage.
Yep.
Like, I wonder back in and I'm sure there was, I wonder if people were like watching George Reeve and being like, he's not the guy from the movie Serial.
Honestly, probably.
That movie Serial, that was real Superman right there. Not this fake shit.
Well, actually, that was my first thought, but I wondered too. But like, there may not have been an expectation of people playing the same character over and over at the time because theater was so heavily a thing at the time, and the people changed, and you would go to the same show over and over again just to see the same show that you loved. So maybe it wasn't a thing. I'd be kind of curious historically about how that came across.
I mean, for my own experience, I will tell you this. I remember people saying that Nicolas Cage couldn't play Superman because the only Superman was Christopher Reeve. I remember, and this was when I was a kid, 96, 97. I remember people coming up with shit about like, did you see Jurassic Park? Oh, CGI is getting so good now. What they're going to do is they're going to do the Death of Superman movie, and they're going to CG Chris Reeve's face on another actor.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, they're not. They're not.
Not gonna happen. You're full of shit.
And,
listen here, early Reddit. Wrong.
All right. Otherwise known as kid I went to church with. Yeah. So, I think all of that is, I remember people saying like, well, if you like Dean Cain, you're gay. I remember, assholes saying that.
I do remember that for some reason. And I don't understand.
He's all right. And then it was the weirdest part of that is like he turned out to be that guy.
Yeah, that was he
in real life.
Into, a real bro.
I wonder if that was like sense. I wonder if that's like some kind of like coping mechanism. If like that was like a knee jerk overcompensation. Like he was like, oh, people like me only if they're gay, huh? Well, I'm not gay. Trump, anti-wokeness.
I don't know. I don't know how that went down.
I don't know.
But now that you mention it, I do remember a couple of comments like that, somewhere in grade school. I was like, I don't get it. I mean, the special effects are bad, but I'm going to watch it.
It was a pretty good show, though.
I don't remember. I have no memory of that show. I watched several of them, but it's not a show that I have like a base set of things where like a Quantum Leap even show where I couldn't tell you what happened for most episodes, but if you brought one up, I'd be like, oh fuck, I saw that one.
Yeah. I deeply want a sequel series to Lois and Clark, but I don't really want to, like, if they want to bring Terry Hatcher back and be like, Superman died trying to fight Luthor or something. And they just like, because the show ended on a cliffhanger. The show ended with like a baby on their doorstep with a Superman symbol over it, Yeah.
So I have seen that picture around sometimes.
Yeah, can we get a sequel series that's like Son of Superman or Daughter of Superman, and it's like that kid and Terry Hatcher? Mm-hmm. Like, can we do that? That would be fantastic. I'd watch the shit out of that.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that Superman died of woke kryptonite, whatever that color is.
I don't know, but nobody on the CW will touch his ass anymore. Ryan Hulsman. Our buddy Ryan. I feel bad. I was torturing Ryan earlier. Picking at him about his usage of Earth 1 when he really means Earth Prime over on the Arrowverse.
I get it instinctually, but it's mathematically nonsense.
All right. Ryan says, people always go Superman versus Goku, who wins? But what about Shazam or Black Adam versus Goku? Who wins? All right. So here's the thing about Goku. Goku beats everybody.
Hold on. Explain to me the base elements of Goku because I know fuck all.
Okay. The thing about Goku, he's got...
Where's he from? What franchise are we talking?
We're talking about Dragon Ball Z.
All right. I know nothing. Go from
some
there.
Anime shit you don't care about. All right. But here's the thing about Goku. This is the pattern and has been the pattern. And, forgive me if I'm wrong somehow. And if I mess up the pattern somewhere, anime fans. But here is the pattern. Goku is the baddest mother ever. Okay. Then some other dude who's badder comes along. They fight for like 10 episodes. Goku dies. Goku goes off to some other realm and trains for like 1,000 years. And then comes back stronger and beats him. So even yes, Goku is going to lose to Superman first, but then he's going to come back and beat Superman's ass. And
look, if
yes,
you
he's
give
going
me
to probably
a millennia between rounds, I could beat Superman.
Right. And he's got he's already faster than the speed of light.
That's one of his power sets.
At this point,
faster than okay.
Yeah, he's already been shown to be faster than the speed of light. He's got super speed. He's got super strength. He's, basically magic.
I'm taking 80,000 years for that.
No, Goku's always going to win because if Superman or Shazam or Black Adam or anybody steps foot in Goku's universe, Goku is going to fly to another planet and train for 1,000 years or something. And then his hair is going to turn a different color and he'll be an even bigger Saiyan. Cause he was like Super Saiyan and then it's like Ultra Saiyan. I don't even know. But every time a new version of Dragon Ball Z comes out, like a new
Ultra Mega Super.
Yeah. Every time he comes out, he's got like a different hair color and he's got more powers and shit. And, basically he's just going to beat the shit out of anybody. He just is. He's Goku. That's what he does. So yeah, Goku. I would even say when I looked at it, cause I wanted to make sure I was talking, but I was, I had some kind of knowledge cause my mother-in-law is super into Dragon Ball Z. So is my sister-in-law. She's got all sorts of figures. They're cool as shit. I wish I was into it. I just can't do it. I can't get into it.
Not my thing.
But not my thing. I've watched, 10 or 15 episodes in a row before. And I'm like, I get it. Just not my thing. But, Goku always just figures out how to be a better Saiyan.
I mean, so it's a nigh Superman amount of powers, but with Batman's ability and more time to plan.
He's just
What the fuck are you going to do about that?
Yeah,
he gonna win.
Dragon Ball Z is just it's just god level powerhouses beating the shit out of each other, and then getting more powers. It's just a soap opera of that shit all the time. That's all the show is, really.
I mean, that's the franchise with One Punch Man, right?
No, I don't think so.
Not?
One Punch Man is his own thing, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm deeply ignorant about this whole thing, so cool.
Yeah, so that's going to be my guess. And, of course, the real answer is the person who, is writing chooses who wins. It doesn't matter what kind of powers that you give.
Yeah, it's also true.
But my guess is, based on the on the franchise, the Dragon Ball Z franchise, Superman, Shazam, or Black Adam wins. Goku runs off and, whether by death or whatever, becomes a bigger powerhouse and comes back and kicks their ass. Anyway.
Yeah. Real answer will be, hey, when they brokered the deal, who said we're going to have the upper hand slightly when we end? Because it's going to end in a draw, mostly.
I'm more interested in who wins Martian Manhunter or Piccolo. But I'm not interested in that at all. That's the show. That's everything. That's all we've got.
All right.
Good Lord. Thank you for listening. If you want to find every episode ad-free, DCLscreen.com. Remember, Patreon, patreon.com/DC on screen. We'll have something new up really soon. Something, probably weird and a little problematic. Who knows?
Naturally.
It's time to go. Until next time, keep some DC on your screen.
I have done it, though.
Our intro music is by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford. Michael's band, Galactic Engineers of Magnetic Sounds, or GEMS, can be found on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. Visit DCOnScreen.com to find our Patreon, merch, contact information, and every episode of the show for free, including crossovers we've done with other podcasts. DC On Screen is a maladjusted production. For more from me and Jason, including sketch comedy, vlogs, parodies, and our improvised web series Hey Guy, visit maladjusted.tv.